Let's have a really brief look at each individual part here. Focus, confidence, motivation. This is Chris. Chris was a swimmer, as you can see, a breaststroke swimmer, 100-metre breaststroke swimmer. It took Chris and I, embarrassingly, about 3 years to actually understand what his job was. So, he's a swimmer, competitive swimmer, swims for Team GB, eventually swam at 2 Olympic Games and was an Olympic finalist and double Commonwealth gold medalist and double Commonwealth record holder. When we met up, he wasn't even in the top 4 in Newcastle. He came an awful long way, and the inflection in his progress curve, the real kind of steep climb came when we actually understood his job. What do you think we thought it was initially? Where did we get confused? What distracted us or blinded us? What do we think his job was initially, do you think? Yes, we thought his job was to win, or make the GB team, or get a time that got him world-class funding, get on the Olympic programme or whatever. That's the mistake we made. Pool's 50 metres long. He's a 100-metre swimmer. We figured out, after 3 years, his job was to swim 2 lengths of the pool as fast as possible. And it wasn't because we're both rubbish at maths. It's because we didn't see the clarity. We didn't see how simple the job actually was. So, we figured out his job was to swim 2 lengths as fast as possible. As soon as he knew that, he started asking some really great questions. First question was, how much of the stuff that I do right now actually contributes to swimming 2 lengths of the pool as fast as possible? What do you think he found? What was his answer? Not much. How much do you think ended up in the bin because it didn't pass that test?
Most of it.
2/3. 2/3 of all the stuff he was doing. He was swimming 60, 70,000 metres a week in the pool, and he went, how many of those metres actually help me swim 2 lengths quicker? Most of them don't. Then we started to look at things like his strength and conditioning programme, and if Penny, who's the physio, who's going to join us at Coffee O'Clock, was here, even the physio programme. What's actually going to make you quicker? Streamlining. Does that involve swimming? No. Probably involves more physio work, maybe some Pilates, some stretching. That'll make me more streamlined. That'll get me down the pool quicker. Okay? What about the strength and conditioning stuff that you do? Lifting the weights and everything else. Do they all help? Some of them probably do, but maybe not all of them. And he asked his strength and conditioning coach, why do I lie on my back on a bench and push a bar that way when breaststroke I pull the water this way? And the S&C coach said, I don't know. Well, why am I doing it? Because everyone does it. Everyone does bench presses on everybody's training programme. But does it help me swim quicker? No, probably not. So what should I do instead then? Good question. How about we take you to the gymnastics centre and you pull yourself up on the rings? How about we put you on a climbing wall? How about we build you a really simple machine that's got a gradient like this, and you lie on your front on a little pad, and then you pull on the handles and you pull yourself up the gradient? How about we do that? Yeah, that would work. Let's do that then. That was the point that Chris became really effective. Really effective. Used his time better than everybody else. He wasn't a more talented swimmer. At the age of 19, he wasn't in the top 4 in Newcastle. And in swimming, by the age of 19, if you haven't made it, you've pretty much been written off. And yet he became a double Olympian, Olympic finalist, double Commonwealth champ, 7th fastest in history, because he started to become absolutely super effective. I also asked him, what are the top 5 things that you do, that you need to do to swim 2 lengths of the pool as fast as possible? The 5 that have the biggest impact. And he went, just 5? I said, yeah, just 5. Because here was the problem with Chris. Really professional, really diligent swimmer. Great athlete, great person. If I said to him, write down everything you could do to get quicker, he'd have written you a list of 200 things. And then what does he try and do? He tries to do 200 things. You can't do 200 things well. And what he would do is what most people do, which is randomly pick from the 200 things on his list. So he'd do this thing, that's the 82nd most important thing. Then he'd do that thing that's the 104th most impacting thing. And then he'd do this, that's the 62nd most impacting thing. And that's how he would do it. And then I said to him, give me the top 5. His 5 was start fast. And then fast but efficient first length. And then quick turn around the wall. And then hold your speed for as long as you possibly can on the way back. And then touch the wall with 2 hands, because if you don't, you're disqualified. And you just wasted everything else. So that was it. That's what we spent our time doing. We spent the next 4 years of our working relationship just focusing on those things and making them as good as they could possibly be. I said, score yourself on a 0 to 10 scale on all of these things. How good are you? And he kind of went, well, I might be a 4 on that, I'm a 3 on that, I'm a 6 on that, Okay, great. What do we need to do to get better? What are we going to do over the next course of, 2-3 weeks or whatever? What are we going to do to get that 4 to become a 5? And all he did for 4 years was just to keep working through it. I said to him, at one point, when these are as good as possible, we could move on to number 6. When do you think we moved on to number 6? Never. Didn't need to. And that turned him from a very ordinary athlete into a world-class athlete, just that process.